Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. This is Naaman with the Great Millstone Camp here in D.C. Back for another video. But first and foremost, call hello Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Wadash, and of course, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. All right. I'd like to send out salutations to the fellow Akim that are out there on the highways and byways, pushing the truth across four corners of this earth. All right. All right, and of course they're aided by the many works in the forms of videos that go up on a daily from various Akim and camps all throughout this planet. All right, and those of course serve to edify the hopeful elect, and they're out there for anyone to view. You know, but we realize that it's only going to be a few, a remnant, aka the elect. All right. 2/3 that's a huge number. All right. Someone has fulfilled that role. All right. And you have to expect the amount of attacks against Jake, especially those in the camps, against the works, those same ones that go out over the airwaves. You're going to have, and again, it's prophecy being played out. You're going to have those scorners and idiots continue to come up, and you're only hurting yourselves. But we're doing what we're commanded to do. We're out there on the highways and byways, trying to warn our people. We are those watchmen that are on the wall. All right. And as commanded, all right, whether you hear or forbear, we're doing as we were commanded to do. All right. That's Ezekiel chapters 2 and 3. All right. So this is the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for purposes such as, for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right, fair use, fair use, fair use. So, is it any wonder that our subject or topic for today is them folks? All right. The chief of them folks. All right. These dirty bastards here. The great pretenders, as I like to say. So what we have here is a neighborhood in Manhattan, the Upper West Side, that decided that, well, flock cameras are for everybody else except them. It says neighborhood with 0 flock cameras discovered to be predominantly ish. Wow, go figure. As in everything else. All right. And the Americans, those of a specific hue or lack thereof, they act like now they're fed up. And you have to love it because while certain other people were, suffering, they would always tell you to, because they're coming after everything. And I was it last year before last, there was an interview where this one ish talking about, you wonder why all this was happening with the affirmative action and DEI and all that. And it's because they want to say that they are the true minority because they are fewer than everyone else. So they want exclusively those benefits. You see how this works? See, Jake never really benefited from all that shit anyway. Just in general, I'm going here as far as because they think they're the chosen. All right. And people are tired of it because they can see through this shit now. All right. Let's see. And as you can see, if you follow my cursor here, as you can already notice, probably that red square, that's the neighborhood they're talking about. And it gives you a breakdown of who's who. Upper West Side is home to 54,000 issues, adults, 13,000 children, and 41,000 households. All right. Let's see what else it has to say here. These households are home to 79,000 total people, including both Jews and non-Jews in Jewish households. 30% of households in Upper West Side include a Jewish person. See, and a lot of people, uh, made mention of the fact that no one else in America gets this amount of privilege and attention. And this, all right, along with the fact that you have the others of their ilk um, that have always been enjoying privilege here. And now they're stepping on their toes. This is beautiful to see. When we always talk about the division, and again, that's prophecy, that's scriptural. Mark 3rd chapter, starting around verse 23 or 24. All right, yeah, this country is so heavily divided, and they're one of the big main reasons why now. Because people are taking a notice that, oh, hey, all this money is going in support of these people. All right, but your white nationalists have been saying this for a long time. But again, Jake shouldn't be getting involved in that. It's like we used to say in the South, that's white folks' business. Stay out of it. But you have these hard-headed Jake. All right, let these motherfuckers. Who was it? Was it Napoleon that made the that's a war. That's a tactic. When your enemies are going at each other, stay the fuck out of it. You know. But Jake wants to be. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's good for everybody else as and everything. People are tired. All right, but this is what we've always told you, and it's not our words. All right, we're telling you what the scriptures say, and who they're through the curses, and it's revealing to you who's who and who it's not talking about. See, they've enjoyed this demigod status in the earth, and I'm not just talking about Edomites or self-professed white people in general, but in particular these people, because why? They assume someone else's identity, and people through, well, one reason was so-called white supremacy. All right, they just couldn't see anybody else but them, and those like them being the people of God. All right, that was the big one. Not realizing the prophecies and what the scriptures say. You're just playing your part, and it's not a good one. Because you're fulfilling the role of the wicked. But you've gone far and above and beyond, especially here in America, in particular, around the world in general, I have to say, of making Jake the fall guy, the bad guy. And again, people seeing through that. You Americans are so mad at Jake because of that propaganda. But because of that, these people just walk right on in front door. And now they've taken your shit. That's what's so funny about it. You thought you were going to get away clear and free. No, 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 no. This is a clear case of a Reservoir Dogs that was going on. Now, and as again, prophecy, scripture, Obadiah, the book of Obadiah, you're turning on each other. And you proud ass Americans, all right? I mean, you've done so much trifling shit to your own kind around the world. Now they can't stand you. And that's going to end in Revelation chapter 17, verse 16. Yes, you thought you were so smart, intelligent. Yes, we built the bombs and we got all this firepower. Never once, well, especially back then, did you consider that you've been set up. You know, then you get into that intellect versus wisdom debate. All right. A smart, dumb motherfucker, yeah, he would do the things that you did. A wise person would not have. So you're doing, and you've been manipulated by the Most High, whose name is Yahweh, by the way, to do what you did. He's the puppet master. And you just thought that, yeah, I got all this firepower. I'm on. Now I can have people do what I want, and I can have these things waiting in the wings, and they dare not do what I say. No, that was never what was going to happen. These things are happening now. Revelation 16 is happening now. All right, the minds of these leaders, proud as they are, they think they're responsible for these decisions. Oh, no. No, 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 no. No. See, you've been working behind, I'm talking about the issues, working behind the scenes, and they've been manipulating this shit for the longest of times. All right. Manipulated your politicians, but you still blame Jake for what's going on. You people are through. All right. So we've got, you know, in the comments here as we go on, it says, oh, so flock cameras were not promised 3,000 years ago. All right. Remember when everyone in Germany went crazy for no apparent reason? Maybe it wasn't for no reason. And yeah, it wasn't for no reason. But you people just believed all that bullshit that they spouted. And that's that spin that they're so proud and admitting that, you know, when it comes to politics, it's just they outright lied. All right. And they made you feel sorry for them. And you continually give these motherfuckers money. I pulled it up. Let's see. How much does each state give these pieces? And it goes on to say no official government data breaks down U.S. aid to Israel by individual state. And yet I saw a depiction of the United States where each state, it had a number in them. Where is it? That was had each state and the millions that they were. Let's see. U.S. total aid to Israel. Which countries? Let's see. Sent to Israel since October 7th. What does Israel do for the United States? All these questions have been coming up. And these people actually have been fucking over this country that you so-called white people, you Edomites, are so proud of. They've had you by the short and curlies, as they say, for the longest time. Israel, Gaza, let's see. Let's just do it this way. It says, however, advocacy groups estimate each state's proportional contribution by applying its share of federal income tax revenue to the total aid amount. For fiscal year 2024, total U.S. aid to Israel reached approximately $17.8 billion, comprising a $3.8 billion baseline and a $14 billion emergency supplemental. Estimated state contributions for fiscal year 2024, based on federal tax shares: California, $2.2 billion, followed by New York, $1.28 billion, and Texas. So you got the big three here at $1.26 billion. All right. The average contribution across all states is estimated at $139 per household, or $53 per person. Smaller states like Wyoming and South Dakota have estimated shares of roughly 57 million and 62 million, respectively. Methodology and limitations. These figures are proportional attributions rather than direct transfers, calculated by multiplying a state's percentage of total U.S. federal income tax revenue by the total aid package. This method excludes other financial flows such as defense contractor revenue, yeah, that's separate, or federal spending that returns to states, which could alter the net financial impact. Consequently, authoritative sources like the Congressional Research Service do not publish official state-by-state ledgers for this assistance. I wonder why. See, everybody, well, I'm not going to say everybody, but when Netanyahu made that statement about in a few years they're not going to longer request aid, well, that was a gimmick because he knew that they were going to try to join militaries. A lot of people fell for that, but it's resistance now. And I'm not sure, I didn't follow up on that. I knew the House just barely passed and gave the okay for it, but it was supposed to go to the Senate. And I apologize, I haven't checked up on that lately. But it wouldn't surprise me, you know, if you having a little resistance here and there, all right, because it does not look too good for these Republicans in the upcoming midterms. So you better believe some shit gonna kick off somewhere, somehow. All right, false flags. You know, this place is gone. It's done. It's all right. Their privacy was promised to them over 3,000 years ago. Yeah, people got all kinds of jokes. All right, they've enjoyed this pity party that people used to have for them, even though it was a straight up lie. All right, and now they're coming gunning for them. All right, who better? These workers of iniquity. All right, let's get some scriptures here. All right, let's see. Let's go to Job, because Job had quite a lot to say in regard to things of this nature. Job 36. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Let's see. What was that? Was it 16? Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Verse 12. But if they obey not, they shall perish. Wait a minute. I'll make sure this is, let's see. Yeah. No. The heck am I doing? Wrong book, Salakia. Oh, that's kind of strange. That didn't. All right. Sorry about that, Salakia. Thinking I was in one book. Oh my goodness, what is wrong with this thing? All right, let's go. All right, this is Psalms 36 and 12, and it says, "There are the workers of iniquity fallen. They are cast down and shall not be able to rise." And this goes with Isaiah 14 and 21. But I would encourage you to read everything before that, because it's not talking about, like the Christian church likes to say, it's not talking about the angel. All right, it's talking about a people, it's talking about a man. All right. And verse 21 in that chapter tells you they're not going to rise up again when they go down. Let's just get it real quick. Isaiah 14. All right. Nor their children are going to be allowed to. It's over for them. All right. The one with the 5 eyes, I will be, because he has a serious God complex too. For those of you that understand that. All right. This is who it's talking about. His pride knows no equal. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. These people were created to be the wicked. There is no, for you Christians out there, there is no chance for them to repent. That's Hebrews 12th chapter, verses 16 and 17. All right. So you see how, and then for you Vocabites out there, you're letting, who I perceive as being one of the Edom, the nation of Edom, manipulate you. All right. Because the strange thing is, you're so apt to try to save your greatest enemy. And you're realizing, and then you're fulfilling prophecy again, because all the chapters, Esther, Nehemiah, all these are where we tried to build, and you people came against us. You know, these other nations. And the same thing again. There's nothing new under the sun. All right. And you're just you're doing the same thing. It was never for you. You need to address the so-called white man on that, on his lies. All right. But again, we understand and accept the fact that, again, this is according to prophecy. And you have to understand these things had happened before. All right. So it's like, who are we? All right. As the scriptures say. And the question, is the servant greater than the master? No. All right. All right. Let's go to Psalms 53. All righty. And verse 4, it says, have the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread? They have not called upon the Most High, whose name is Yahweh, by the way. Yes, they continually. And if we were to remain here, you know, Jake just doesn't look at the big picture. He thinks because they allow a few of us to succeed, and then that's temporary. And that's to give the illusion that, yeah, all you have to do is work harder. When you actually take a look at that on a deeper level, that is some cruel shit. That's one of those tender mercies. All right. That's the scriptures talk about. That's just done in order to keep you from rebelling. They told you that, and then what was it? The scene in the beginning of came out in the late '60s or early '70s. God dang it! What was that movie? Oh my goodness! It'll come to me. They were sitting around the table with the slaves serving them. They were just talking shit, you know. Say this is, you know, their strategy. Goodbye, Uncle Tom. That's what it was. Goodbye, Uncle Tom. I recommend those who haven't seen it to watch that. All right. This is strategy on their part. They don't give a fuck about us. Never did. And this is what King David says. Let's go to Psalm 64. All right. Verse 2, it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter works. I just mentioned in brief about all the shit they do to Jake. All right. And as far as the allowing certain of us to succeed, all right. So that's some low down, dirty, wicked shit. All right. Despite you see what's as a result of our accomplishments, re, despite all the hell they put on us, look, what do you think this attitude of Pete Hegseth and this administration and firing high level Jake officials in the military and elsewhere? Where do you think that's coming from? It's a constant. This man has a what's that? A serious inferiority complex. You got to consider the shit that they've done to us. And after child slavery, in a matter of 2 generations, maybe 3, we had built our own towns, learned to read and write. That was a fucking threat. Despite what we've done to these, keeping them, and it still happens. They're still holding, Think about that. Some have come out and said it openly. These people, these immigrants, are allowed to come over here just to slow our progress. That also came out. We set up, furnish the table, everybody else comes and eat. And there's a southern saying about this: it says fattening frogs for snakes. And that's what our people do. But we understand the big picture. You can't get caught up in that. All right. Because again, this is a tactic by our enemy. But it is frustrating. All right. Not to mention, we're talking about also those in the diaspora of our people, but I'm mainly talking about the actual heathen foreigners. Because you're seeing what's happening with fellow Jakes, Northern and Southern Kingdom. All right. They're also been pitted against us. But who is he mainly going after? And the sad part of that is we offered our hand, but everybody slapped it away. Now, I don't want to get off on that tangent, but yeah, all these things that are happening are because of these wicked motherfuckers, these issues mainly. They're the ones behind this. All right. And they're fellow Edomites. But what they didn't count on is the issues were going to betray them too, because at the end of the day, they want all this for themselves. So again, you need to stay out of white folks' business. I'm talking about you Jakes. Let them fight among each other. Trust me, they're going to turn on us soon enough. All right, so that's about it. I didn't want to take too long on this. He says they don't spy on themselves. Happy Hanukkah. All right. Of course not. Let's see. But there's an underground tunnel or two there. He said, I bet there's an underground tunnel or two there. Yep. It says it's actually illegal to treat them like regular people. There was an incident in Ireland. And this was several weeks ago, I think, as it pertains to soccer, where they something about they had certain conditions for the game for fear of, again, understand this is in their country, but they were so fearful of the issues being harmed. Yeah, these people got some nerve, man. But that's it for this video. I said, I wasn't gonna take take up too much time on it because it's very simple, but it's so much going on here. When you consider these people are involved, it's just not, you know, it's, whew, I mean, but we're seeing it. This place fall in real time. Remember Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 25:7. There'd be 9 things. Let's get that real quick. Now in there. There'd be 9 things. All right. Let's see. All right. Here we go. All right. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that hath joy of his children, which you really can't, and in large part because of these issues. Again, the tunnel folk. A man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. And that's what we're witnessing now. All right. Remember what Yahushua said to his disciples in Luke 10:18. All right. For I behold Satan fall as lightning. All right. From heaven. His heaven being his rulership. All right. And that indeed is what's going on. So with that, like I said, gonna wrap it up here. And I hope whoever views this has been edified. That's what we aim to do here at Great Millstone. Supposed to filter everything through the scriptures. All right. So people can be edified. That's what you do. And that, believe it or not, is what's going to trip up these people that are calling themselves crashing the camps now just to get some cred. All right. You're just leading certain people, and this is what you've been set up to do. At the end of the day, you're just fulfilling, again, prophecy. All right. The blood is going to be on your hands, not ours. So with that, again, reminding you to please remain circumspect out here. Keep your eyes and ears open, because it's more dangerous times that we're coming into. So with that, until next video, hey, shalom.